Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you about the 10 ingredients I think every successful Kickstarter needs. Okay, now I'm going to be talking about board games specifically here because that's what I know. However, I think a lot of this is pretty general in the fact that if you want a successful Kickstarter campaign, when you're selling any kind of product, these are the kind of things you need. So, number one is hype. That's right. Hype is important. You can't just spring a campaign upon everybody. You need to hype it up at least a month in advance, preferably a couple months in advance, where you are just saying, hey, we're going to be coming to Kickstarter on this day. This is the date that we're going to be live. Start teasing a bit about the game or the product or anything like that. You just need to actually get the word out. And you need to get the word out as much as possible. And what that means is not everybody follows you, especially if you're new. So you can't just post to your own Facebook, okay? You can't just post on your own website. You got to get on BoardGameGeek.com. You got to get talking to people, yeah, like me, your community, your influencers, the people who help spread the word. You need to actually make sure that other people besides just your regulars know about this campaign. Talk to the media, right? Get your stuff on some articles and some websites. Get involved in different groups, like online, like Facebook is one of those, where you can just really let everybody you can know that you're coming with a Kickstarter campaign and this is when you need to start looking, okay? That gets people interested and it lets people become informed. Number two is to update daily once a Kickstarter happens. If you have a Kickstarter that's 10 days long, you should have at least 10 updates. If it's 30 days long, at least 30 updates. Okay, a lot of, especially these long-winded, month-long Kickstarter campaigns involve regulating hype, right, with stretch goals and with these updates. So every day, people want to find out something new. And it can't just be the, hey, you unlocked this today, you unlocked this map, or you unlocked this miniature, or this upgraded component, or this card, or it can't just be that. I'm not saying don't say that, right? Keep people informed, that's fine. What I'm saying is that can't be it. It can't just have a picture of it. Here's what you unlocked, here's what's next, there you go. Okay? By all means, post that there, but let's put a little bit more effort into it and actually have an update for people, whether it's what you're doing, how the campaign's going, what your plans are, new systems, or anything. It doesn't matter. Just make it something that is a part of somebody's daily life for 30 days. If you can all help it, that is beneficial for you. Number three is team interaction, and I don't just mean answering Kickstarter updates, though that's or Kickstarter comments, but that's important, right? I mean, Kickstarter is more than just that web page. If you're on a social media site at all, and somebody asks a question about your campaign, there should be somebody whose job it is to actually answer that. Because, in fact, typically outside of Kickstarter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Board Game Geek, on whatever it is, those people might not be your backers. That might be a potential backer, and you ignoring them because you're only focused on the Kickstarter comments, it makes them a lost backer. Okay? So make sure that wherever you decide your online presence is, that you are involved there. And get involved in other people's stuff. If other people are posting about it, by all means, pop on there. You have no idea how well regarded I have seen people respond to somebody making an article on Board Game Geek. And then the developer or some staff member of that product then comes on there and answers a question or comments on it. It shows that not only are you helpful in, answering questions, but that you're engaged in the community and reading about it. And that sort of engagement creates a community. And communities stick. Number four is simple pledge levels. Okay? And what I mean by that is the pledge tier that a potential backer has to pick should be as small as possible. I like just one, maybe two if you do an all-in. In other words, here's the basic, here's the all-in, that's what you get. The other stuff, you can fine-tune it, you can do add-ons, you can do all that stuff, but that doesn't have to be a whole separate tier, okay? Because it just becomes confusing. Especially if every Kickstarter is somebody's first Kickstarter, and the last thing you want to do is to have a backer confused because they might just leave. Okay? So if they have 15 different pledge tiers that they can choose from, it's just going to confuse them and it's unneeded. Okay? So I get the fact that you might want to, let's say you spend $100 more and you save $5 or whatever, right? In other words, there's some benefits to buying in bulk. That's fine, but you can handle that in the pledge manager where you handle it and not the customer, not the backer, right? Not the consumer. In other words, take all of that on yourselves and make the consumer experience as easy as possible. So by all means have okay, let's say your game costs $100. Okay. So your game costs $100 and then I want to get these add-ons or whatever. It ends up being $200 for me, right? Cause I added all these add-ons. Then by all means, when it comes to the pledge manager, give me like $5 extra credit or whatever it is, or, free shipping. I don't know. There are tons of ways to handle this where it's on the company and not the consumer. Don't put that on the consumers to try and figure out which magical one they need, whether they need this one or this one when there's like $12 difference, but this one comes with this and this one. That's confusing. And it's a wall. It's a barrier. Okay. So don't do that. Number 5 is to be prepared. That's right. You need to actually assume you're going to hit stretch goals. I don't mean assume as in just make them and have them ready. And if you don't get them, then it's a loss, especially if you're a newer company where the stretch goals actually are not just hype engines. And instead you actually need the funds to, unlock the ability to make miniatures or, upgrade the card sleeves or like where it actually has a cost point to it, right? That's fine. Okay. But you still need to be prepared in that I think I might make another board tile or these card sets or these miniatures. And if you know you're going to do that ahead of time, which you should because you're assuming you're going to have these 30 different updates, right? Because you followed step 2, I think it was, ingredient 2. Then be prepared with actual oomph behind it, right? Like if you are launching a miniature, show the miniature. It is a 3D render. That's fine. If you have a resin copy, or a 3D printed one or whatever, that's from Shapeways. I don't care. Post it. Okay. The last thing we need is to see a whole bunch of concept art when you're unlocking miniatures or a whole lot of explanations about systems or I guess the name of a system without an explanation. Okay. If you're adding solo play, explain solo play. Okay. And it's important that even once you do this, and it's fine if you don't get it right away, right? Maybe it comes an update later, but nobody just wants to read the update, right? Especially if they hit that 48-hour thing, they're not going to come in, and read 30 odd updates just to try and get the update itself. Update the campaign, right? Especially if they hit that 48, that just means they put like a $1 in there or not even anything, right? And so they're coming in the last 2 days and they're not going to read everything. They're going to look at the campaign page. So if you don't update the campaign page, with the updated work in progress stuff that you have, they just are going to assume that you're not as prepared. And that's not what you want. So update the campaign page as well. Really, these campaigns you need to stop doing what it is you're doing as a company unless you have a whole separate team and just do the campaign for a month. Okay. It's going to take a lot. Number 6 is show us the game. I appreciate a CG intro. I appreciate, some Morgan Freeman some Morgan Freeman wannabe person talking over concept art that's shifting and moving. Okay, that's fine. It can tell me about how demons are attacking the city and I need to defend it. What I also need to know as a backer is when these demons attack, is this a dice chucking worker placement game? Or is this a collectible card game and dexterity game? Those are weird combinations. My point is that I need to know as a potential backer what the game actually is or what the product you're selling me is. Is it just a miniature line or is it a skirmish game? What is it, right? Tell me what it is. By all means, include that stuff. That's fine. But some of these Kickstarter videos don't even show a game board. Okay, or any components at all. They don't have to be real components. They could be computer components. I don't care. I just need to be more informed after watching your video, not just watching a spectacle. Number 7, include the backers. Now, I get wanting to control everything. I get saying, this is my vision, this is my company, my product, and I'm making this, okay? As a YouTuber, I follow the same kind of problems, right? This is my channel, and if I want to post this video, well, by golly, I can post the video. There's nothing you can really do about it until YouTube shuts down or if it's inappropriate or something. However, my viewers can either not view it, they can thumb it down, or they could thumb it up and leave a comment saying, hey, this was great, King of Average, do more talking points. The point is you got to include the people that make your business what it is, okay? And part of this is being sticky, and I kind of mentioned this earlier. So there are people who, hey, that game looks cool, I'm going to buy that game, and then fall off the face of the earth, or, buy every other one or whatever, right? But somebody who's sticky is somebody who appreciates the company or who is invested in a product, right? So if I just back something casually and then later on I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't actually need that game anyway. And so I'm going to back out of it, right? But if I feel invested in a product, I'm much more likely to stay and to not drop a pledge, right? So even if that investment, obviously the financial will happen, but before that happens, you can have people be invested just by voting on something, and you don't have to give away all public, all freedom, right? You have to be like, oh, you guys don't like drafting? Well, then drafting's out of the game. If you want drafting, put drafting in the game, that's fine. But you can do stuff like, the Avalon game, I can't think of it right now. Either way, there was a game coming out now, like Tears of Avalon, Tainted Grail. I'll say Tainted Grail. That's like the subtitle of it. Anyway, Tainted Grail, they have 2 different box arts, right? It's the same picture, the difference is in the lighting. And they said, hey, which one do you like more? Do you like the one that's lit up more or the one that's darker? You get to pick, okay? Especially for Kickstarter exclusive stuff, if you're putting all your Kickstarter exclusive stuff in an extra box, have them design that box. It only affects them anyway, so it doesn't hurt your retail presence. It doesn't hurt what it looks like on a shelf somewhere if you're really concerned about that and, your local friendly gaming store or whatever. That's fine. The point is, you have now made it to where they get to pick something, they become involved, and then they become invested. That's important. Number 8, include the rule book, and not just for me, because actually I don't read these rule books. If I am going to read the rule book, it's because I just got the game. If I'm not going to read the rule book, if I might not even get this game, I might not even back it, or if I backed it, again, I'm going to read it anyway. Though there are some people that will not back a game if they can't read the rules. Okay? For me, and for I think a lot of other people, it helps just to know that the rules are there, right? In fact, especially to see where they're at. Is this just a Word document, or does this have even most of the basic layout and organization? Is this missing a few detailed pieces or examples and art, right? That tells me how far in development you are, okay? Much more than just spinning up some sculpts, much more than just drawing some concept art, right? Because that is the actual game. Now, obviously, the other stuff matters as well. If you have no sculpts at all and you're a miniatures heavy game, well, you're pretty delayed then. You got to get on that, right? That takes a lot of time to make good ones, right? You got to iterate on these things, right? Any kind of artistic process like that, you really have to put some time and effort into it. You don't just wing it. Maybe some people are amazing and wing it out first time. I don't know. My point is, include the rule book. Some people won't back at all, period, if you don't have it. So those are instant no backers. And other people might still be interested just to check it out to see how it is. It doesn't have to be a print and play thing. Just post what you have up there and just put a disclaimer saying this is a work in progress. That's good enough. Number 9, why Kickstarter? Tell me why you are on Kickstarter and do it towards the top. First of all, include what your game is about. I hate when I don't know. Is it a 3 to 5 player co-op game? I don't know. Put it up at the top. Like that should be like the first paragraph, not some fluff. Right? Tell me what the product is. We'll get to the fluff later if I'm interested in a 3 to 5 player co-op game or a solo card game. I don't know. Just tell me what it is. But also, tell me why you're on Kickstarter and be honest about it, because I don't think people are the people who are judgmental on Kickstarter are lessening every day as more people become accustomed to what Kickstarter is, and as Kickstarter itself becomes accustomed to what it is, right? So Kickstarter is changing and evolving, and so is the industry, and so is everybody around it, okay? So, are you on Kickstarter because you are a new company and you can't make this game otherwise because you need funds to even start? Say that. In fact, that explains a lot about the rest of the stuff. If you only have concept art and no, fancy rule book, but you're a new company, that helps me know as a potential backer, right? Maybe you're just making a game that doesn't work retail. Monolith does this all the time. Just say that, like, hey, this is a big game. It wouldn't work at retail, so we're doing a Kickstarter. That's fine too. You can go kind of more the CMON route and a lot of others where it's like, hey, we're an established company, but we want to give you this better deal. So if you buy in this bulk and you get in now and we get these lump sums, we can produce these a lot cheaper, get these out to you, you have a better version than the retail version. That's fine. Just explain it. It helps people know. It helps people know whether they should wait for retail. It helps people understand what follows later in the campaign page where you actually see like, oh, they're a new company, or, oh, I can see why this is so expensive and why this has to be Kickstarter, or, oh, I can see the benefit of this Kickstarter exclusive part here. It helps explain that, and it's just honest. So include that as well. That's super helpful. Now, number 10. That's right. I'm using all fingers here. the number 10 ingredient you need for a successful Kickstarter is to explain the PM timeline, the pledge manager timeline. That's super important, okay? Because people a lot of times have to save up for these. And in fact, a lot of people don't understand the pledge manager. So explaining that early and the timeline helps, right? Especially if you have the dollar level in pledge where you can pledge $1 and then do the PM later, then you definitely need to explain this. But really, here's how it works. So if your pledge manager opens 4 weeks after the campaign closes and then runs for 6 months, let somebody know so they know, hey, you just need these funds somewhere along this time, right? That's super helpful, especially the cutoff date. Okay, and that's fine to extend it as long as you think you'll need it. It's fine to update the date and move it back or move it forward. Just explain it, okay? The point is if you don't do that, then they don't know, and then they're more hesitant to put money in. Or they'll try and go in early and put in less. Maybe they think, oh, I need to get in the pledge manager right away because I don't know how, maybe it's only open for a month. I don't know. And so they're going to just do what they have now when they would have rather have saved up and maybe got an expansion or some side characters or some, fluff dice bag or something like that. Okay. So explain what it is so they can make an informed purchase decision. It'll help you in the long run. And I do not have more fingers. However, I do have a bonus. It's a personal pet peeve of mine. So I'm going to end on this one. Your stretch goal unlock list, put it at the top and reverse the order, okay? What I mean by that is every single day people are wanting to look at the update and new stretch goals, especially what's coming up next, okay? If you have your stretch goals down towards the bottom, which you should at the start, when you're first starting it, you need to explain the game, okay? The first 2 days it should be down there, okay? There's somewhere below hand, right? The next 2 days though, I get really right afterwards, but then the last 2 days especially, that needs to be up top. So then in that middle section, you need to float those up top and then reverse the order to where the next unlock item is on top. The farthest one down was the first unlocked, okay? Now, once you do that, again, at least before the last 2 days where there's another surge of backers, show a summary of what you have unlocked. In other words, include it, organize it, make it all neat. We don't care that you unlocked this at 100,000 and this at 120,000, this at 130,000. You just need to know what's unlocked, okay? So all that needs to be up top. It helps a lot so you don't have to scroll, go down there. Personal pet peeve of mine, but I think it's probably a lot of people's. Put that to the top and reverse the list. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. I do appreciate you watching this. This is kind of a new format. If you're new here, I would just let you know that this channel mostly does miniature painting, board game unboxing, reviews, and now talking points like this. However, if you are new and that does interest you, go and hit the subscribe button below and click that bell icon to be notified, because otherwise YouTube won't ever let you know. You may as well not even subscribe. Also, be sure to like the video if you did like it. Let me know in the comments below if this is of interest of you. If it's not, if you have a particular kind of interest point. I want to talk about Monolith is doing something very interesting with their claustrophobia Kickstarter. That'll probably be the next video up in this format that I do. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.